This year says, Cam, do you still want to give Ten Hag another year?
I think I said that already that I don't. A while, like it was 3 weeks ago. I think 3 weeks ago I conceded, and like Terry knows me. I've been one of those people where if I get something wrong, I say it. Like I don't double down. I'm like, I was wrong. No big deal, because that's literally sports. Like I found out I was wrong about some things with Ten Hag, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like move on. Am I one of those people who won't back him if he's here though? No, that's never been me either. Like I back whoever's in the dugout, and that's just that. But I don't think he should get another year if we keep playing like this. And I think I've said that. So yeah, no.
I think right now the Erik Ten Hag discussion to in and out it's more of a hope. I think many of our fans, and I'm part of that, is like we don't want this, again, drop a manager, sack a manager, bring a new one in. We're tired of that cycle. So I think it's more Safi, more we hope he's the one. Like we have to stop this, and people are hoping with a new management, a new Ineos are going to come in, new structure, maybe it'll work out. So I think again, I'm part of this in a way. Again, at this point, Erik Ten Hag, you can't defend him anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm at this. I don't care if he's gone. I mean, if he stays or leaves, I don't care at this point.
There's hoping for it. There's hoping for it, but as you've just said, it's waking up and smelling the coffee. And look, Staffy had a bit of a friendly pop at me. Me and Staffy are boys. We do shows together about the Garnacho thing. And what will happen? He'll have a good game against Chelsea in the week, and I'll say, "Now what you're saying?" And I was thinking about this just while we've been sitting here talking, and I'm going to stop that right away. It's a fun bit of banter, but it's almost neither of us are going to know if we're right about Garnacho until 2, 3, 4 years time when we see where he is. So if he's off playing in Liga doing nothing, Staffy's right. If he's in the Man United team, we're chanting for Prems and he's killing it, I was right. But we're seeing the same thing with the Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out stuff. If we play well against Chelsea, you'll see now what you're saying about him. And then the next game we play badly, and my group will kind of say, well, now what are you guys saying? And I am now at a point where we know what's what. We know what's what. We know that this guy isn't making us into a consistent team. I don't think we need to throw it out. Well, I told you so, you told me. And that's not a dig at Staffy. We know the truth. We absolutely know the truth. And everyone who is Ten Hag in, Mark Goldbridge and all, I think in their heart of hearts, they truly know he's done and should go. They just don't want to admit it yet. So it isn't even about, well, I'm right, maybe, you're right, maybe, and it's a bit of a to and a fro. I think every Man United fan knows that this manager's got to go. But because of what you said, Fayez, there was all that hope and that, we don't want to keep sacking managers. They're holding on to their last, by the skin of their teeth, to the hope that he turns it round. That is all it is. Because no one, I've just been sent a message, touches in our box this half, 81 is a record in the Premier League.
Another one he breaks.
Terry, we have the third most shots conceded in the league, 16.9.
It's crazy.
The only two that are more than, 16.6. There's only two teams more than us. Sheffield and one more team, I forgot what the other team. They're at 16.9 and 17 point something.
I am curious how much are on target. How much are on target, by the way? I'm curious about that.
It doesn't matter.
Shots,
I don't know, but the fact they're allowing 16.6 shots, it's too much.
Tonight, only 5.
You're bottom 3 for it.
Yeah, I mean, them being on target is not really about us. It's more about them and their accuracy, us letting it happen. Kevin, you wanted to jump in and say something, mate?
Yeah, I just want to jump in on your point of, like, if Garnacho is a good talent or Ten Hag is a good talent. The main thing that all United fans really need to understand is we're emotional fans because we've been in the dumps for 10 years. Everything that goes wrong, everything goes right. Every human being, in my opinion, has emotions, and they see the club and its success. We ruin kids' childhoods, and now we are getting ruined. So when you look at Garnacho not performing, you look at Ten Hag not performing, I think we can all agree on the panel right here. His time is up. We don't play consistent at all. We lose control of the game in the first 20 minutes, and there's no change made. I think there's clear in-game tactics that there just aren't happening, that when you have your badges at this level, you should just learn to say, okay, we need to take a winger off and play one up top and maybe do a false 9-10 role and then have an extra midfielder to try and hold the game, and we're just not seeing any of it. So when we get to these points of, like, talking tactics, that's gone now. We just need to hope and see when it comes to the board. And like I always say, as someone that works in HR, if the upper level of your organization isn't run correctly and it's chaotic, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to follow the leader's ways of thinking. So if you're doing something crazy, your under people are going to do something crazy as well. And you can see it every single game week. And it just,
you know what else
we're
is
just waiting
United
for 12 more games. And then we're just going to see what happens then.
But you know what else makes us want us to keep him? The rumors of Southgate. Let's be honest. I think when that happened, everybody started to get scared again and being like, "Oh no, like I'd rather keep who we have."
I can completely agree for that, Cam. But
I do agree, but
do we trust Ineos? Oh, sorry.
So yeah, but that's your point. Ask that question because that's what I was going to allude to. Ask that question.
Do we trust Ineos? So let's say Ineos decide for any reason to keep Ten Hag or put Southgate or Potter. Do we trust Ineos enough to make the right decision? That's the main question, I think.
That's where I'm keeping my powder dry. And I've just decided I'm not going to overreact in either direction. If we sign Zidane or we sign Southgate, I'm going to try my best to keep my reaction as vanilla as possible because.
If Ineos said to keep him, would you?
Ten Hag's a little bit harder because I've made a firm stance on him. But we've been asking for football decision makers for a long time, and if they decide, and Staffy made this point the other day on Top 6, that maybe we have to go for a Graham Potter-esque type person to build a foundation for somebody bigger to come in. Now we're not going to know that until later on. That is something we're only going to learn with hindsight after. I know the word hindsight's banned on the terrace, but we're only going to learn it after the fact. We're not going to know. I mean, we have thrown money at managers in their pomp at the top of their game. We've thrown money at star name play. None of that has actually worked for us. Maybe we do need a different approach, but we can't scream blue murder for football decision makers and then throw our toys out the pram at all their early decisions. I do think we have to let the new regime, when they actually start to make an impact, which hasn't begun yet, we have to maybe sit back, give our opinions, criticize and praise things. But I would like to see Man United fans for a small period of time at least stop showing their bum cracks on camera and slow down a little bit and kind of wait to see the wood for the trees. Do you remember how when they spoke about Sir Jim coming in, we were lied to that there was going to be double debt? I overreacted to it. Oh my God, they're going to buy it with debt and the club's going to have to pay and how we're going to do. Sometimes you've just got to wait for things. That's my opinion. Staffy, what do you feel about that?
About what exactly? Sorry.
About that question, like with trusting Ineos and that people to make the right decision moving forward.
I mean, you have no other option but to trust them. Because what else can we do? They are the people coming in. And I find it hard to believe that someone like Omar Barada was going to be our CEO, who spoke about not giving players more than 2 years to prove themselves, and if they're not consistent, they will be changed. That's the system that they implied in City. Like, you didn't see players in City stay for too long, especially when they're not performing. I found it hard for them with that mentality to look at this manager and to be like, you know what, we're going to give him a second chance. There's nothing to base that on. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, but one small thing. Juan Barada worked at Barcelona when they were run well. He worked at City, right, in Man City, one of the best run clubs in the entire world. Manchester United, we're broke. We are a farce of a club, structure-wise, I'm talking, of course. Old Trafford, I mean, we know all the story about Old Trafford and our playing staff and so forth. And don't forget, to sack Ten Hag, how much is it going to cost us? $10, $20 million? I'm sorry, pounds or whatever the currency is. It's not going to be cheap to do so. So overall, I get that. He has a 2-year rule and so forth, but you're in a different situation here. Unfortunately, he might have to adapt. We might have to adapt to different circumstances because of our last 15, 10 years, how clubs have run. That's all I'm saying. So again, I don't think it's that simple, to be honest. I
didn't say it's simple, right. but you're talking to me. Okay, I get it if you want to talk about it in a financial aspect. And I never sit here and I claim that I'm a financial expert. I don't know all the ins and outs of hiring and firings. I'm just looking at it in footballing sense. In footballing sense, there's no reason to look at this manager and say, let's start a new project. And when you're talking about a new project, it's not just a new project in terms of a manager and his team. You're talking about a new project in terms of the organization. It's really rare to see in recent times a whole club change from top to bottom, bar Chelsea, and we've seen how bad their thing went.
Yeah.
But it is a whole different system coming in. It's very hard for me to look at them and see all the people that they fired and hired, and then they're going to stop at Ten Hag. There's nothing that warrants me why this manager is going to be here next year. Because I saw a super chat with that. I'm sure you're going to put it on, Terry. Someone was saying, how about you talk about the game, analyze the game tactically. There's nothing for me to say that I haven't said
talk about that
for
game.
30 games. I've said this.
Like,
No, but like, how many times have I been on the Terrace, whether it's a top 6, whether it's a straight facts, or whether it's a match reaction, explaining the same thing? If you are sitting here in game week 30, is it, or 29? I think it's 30, and you still want tactical analysis on how United play, that is on you. That is not on me. I cannot repeat myself for 6 months to tell you that we didn't keep the ball, that we were defensively fragile, that our midfield gets outdone by the other midfield. We couldn't keep the ball up front. We had no link up between Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund. Bruno's a poor number 10. The substitutions are incorrect. He does it at the wrong times and bringing the wrong individuals. Even Onana, he was brilliant today at saving, but everything in terms of distribution, he couldn't even flex that today because we were getting pressed by a Brentford team and we couldn't play to what's his name's best strength, Onana, which is distribution. And the whole excuse about changes, injuries, because I've been so sick of people talking to me about injuries. The only player that was pretty much injured today and didn't start the game for us was Luke Shaw. And Luke Shaw, no one rates. It's one of the players that I rate, but everyone told me that they don't rate them, so they want him gone. So I'm not going to wait for anyone right now to tell me, oh, you know what, Luke Shaw, we needed him today to play football. Yeah. You had Mount sitting on the bench until the 80th minute, Terry. This guy's been back for injury for about a month. We had all of the international break. He wasn't even called up for England, so he rested ever since that Liverpool game. Got more time in energy in his legs, and he played only 10 minutes today. That was our summer budget, going on a player like him, and we still played a midfield of Kobbie Mainoo, McTominay, and Bruno. And when he decided to make a change, he didn't take off McTominay. I saw people saying, "Is McTominay even the game?" Wallahi, Terry, I'm not even joking with you. Towards the 45th minute, I forgot McTominay was on the pitch. I saw him receive the ball. I was like, "Shit, he's playing today." I legit forgot that he's on the pitch, and he decides to keep him, as I said earlier, for a last-minute header rather than bringing on Casemiro, Eriksen, or Mount early. Any of those changes would have helped your midfield. Would it have made it much better? Probably not, but it would have improved us. And he doesn't go for these things. So there's nothing for me to say that hasn't been replicated throughout the other 30 games or 28 games, 29 games that we played around.
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, even Gary Neville and the Sky Sports team have stated on a number of occasions they find it hard to talk about and analyze Manchester United because the issues in the games are always the same. And I spoke about it in my opening monologue. I don't know if the person saw it, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. We've seen this goal so many times this season. The standout one would be Arsenal because it came a moment or two later. But I'm going to put it up on the screen now because I went and got a screenshot while Staffy was talking. But this is after you've got 1-0 up. There's a minute to go in the game. How have you got all those Brentford players free at the edge of the box? So if you want to analyze the game, it's difficult to do it because I don't think anybody has answers other than the team isn't well drilled. Now, this is where me and Carlito, the Chelsea fan, disagree, where he says managers are only 20% of what's going on. It's the players. Now, this is where I disagree completely. Because a well-drilled Man United team, and when I say well-drilled, I'll break that down because I always think people understand it. There's passing drills, there's shooting drills, there's corner drills, but there's also drills that you do where it's attack versus defense for this type of thing. Balls being pumped into the box like it's the last minute. You run drills to cope with various scenarios within games. Now, I've never been trained to play professional football, but I did kickboxing at a high level, and you do that. You do it in that as an example. When you do sparring, you spar with multiple sparring partners. So by the time you get to the latter round, you're going up against fresh people. You then do different scenarios. You work on different types of sparring partners for different types of techniques. So I assume football clubs are going to do the same thing in their training. In fact, I know they fucking do it. It'd be obvious. So when you say break it down and analyze it, what do we say anymore? How do we analyze this? When we've been seeing this all season, we've just gone 1-0 up and we've left 4 Brentford players on the edge of the box or in our box completely and utterly unmarked. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 Man United players in our box, including our goalkeeper. We should have 11 players in that box, all camped in front of those individuals. We'd have won the game.
Look at the clock on the top left there. Look at the clock. Oh, my God.
It's crazy. And that's just on the goal. The system in itself, we know some of it is the players, but we also know how good Kobbie Mainoo is in the ball. But we weren't getting the ball to him in the right positions tonight. He was then being swamped and being pressed. So something needed to be changed. But as I said in my opening monologue, when you said we don't analyze the game, nothing did get changed. We continue to do the same thing over and over again. And the players look shell-shocked because they were unprepared, because we didn't run the drills in training over the last couple of days preparing for this game right. Our coaches and whoever did the scouting got it wrong. And Brentford played in a way that we weren't ready for. I don't know what more there is to say about it than that. I really don't. Sophia's here with us. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's what you guys are saying. It's not really much to say tactically with this team. It's the same, trash every single time. We're not consistent with the fact that we had such a good game, against Liverpool, a very good performance right before the international break. And then suddenly here we are being bopped up left to right by a Brentford. How they get that many chances. The fact that they technically, let's be honest, they should have won the game. I think it's very clear that we were lucky with getting a point. It feels like a loss, which is definitely very damning. But I think with the players, it's very annoying to see how very slow pace the game was, and how they were cutting us open. The amount of times we saw Wissa and even Tony through on goal just by themselves. Where are the people? Why aren't people tracking back? Why aren't people communicating? It's a shambles, but it's the same. So it's like, is there anything else new to mention? I'm at this state where I'm just counting the days till this season is over. That's where I'm at.
I totally hear you. Super chat here.